Hi, I'm Nick Warlow. By way of introduction, I run I'm one of the founders of the Gourmet Hog Roast franchise, and we're just making this short video for people that are considering joining the franchise network, so that they can hear from an existing franchisee, in this case Graham, who's been managing the West Midlands franchise since July 2021. And we think it's important that potential people looking to join us get to hear from a franchisee direct about their experience. So yeah, you've been with us since July 21, Graham. What what made you look at a franchise? What were you doing before you joined us? Be good to hear.
Hi, Nick. Yeah, so I was working for a Midlands car manufacturer. It was office-based job working in procurement. And then after COVID hit, I was offered the opportunity of redundancy. So I'd always wanted to run my own catering business ever since I worked abroad when I was young, working in bars and restaurants. And I'd never really had the opportunity to do it. And obviously, the redundancy money and having more time on my hands gave me the chance to do it. So I started looking at franchises on the Franchise Direct website. And initially, it was kind of like the brand that you guys have created that attracted me to it. Professional looking website, you got all your history of previous jobs on there, which I do think customers like to see. Yeah, and then from there, I started looking at a bit more detail, and the kind of menus that you've got, is the kind of food I like to cook and eat myself. So I thought that'd be the kind of stuff I'd like to sell as well. So it was from there, really.
Fantastic. Well, that's exactly what we've tried to build here in terms of a brand. Is we want to be a full service catering company, not seen as just a hog roast provider. So we do things like barbecues and pizzas and canapes and full wedding menus. But what was important for us was, providing a service that clients would enjoy, and certainly the food that we enjoy cooking as well. Because I've personally never worked in a kitchen. It was, although I've been doing this for over 10 years now, it's kind of a passion that led me to it. And it's the same with franchisees that we bring on board. We don't ask that they have any previous catering experience. It's just a passion for kind of being outside and cooking outdoors, enjoying barbecuing, because everything else can be taught. So it's great how you were attracted to us in that regards.
Yeah.
What can you describe kind of what a typical week looks like as a franchisee?
Yeah, sure. So early on in the week, Monday morning it starts fairly quiet, which is obviously a nice way to start the week. You just send a few emails to clients you've got for upcoming jobs, maybe chasing payment, letting them know what sort of time you'll be arriving. And then middle of the week, around Wednesday, start compiling the lists of all the food that you need to buy, all the other bits and bobs for the jobs. Then Thursday afternoon, maybe Friday morning, go and pick up all the stuff. And then Friday afternoon, do all the prep ready for the jobs on the Saturday. So Friday is obviously one of the busier days, and then because I operate my business from home, so I also always make sure I get the vans loaded up with all the gear ready for Saturday morning. So then Saturday morning, because it can be quite early starts, all we then have to do on a Saturday morning is just load the food on, and then obviously do the job on the Saturday, and then Sunday is try and get all the cleaning done, so Monday morning can start all over again, so to speak, with a nice quiet start.
And you say typically most of the jobs are on kind of a Saturday, aren't they? Over the weekend. Would you say there's also some work during the week as well for you in the summer months?
Yeah, so the peak months of June to September, I had quite a lot of corporate jobs. So you might have Wednesday or Thursday or even both sometimes, and then also get quite a few Sunday jobs in the summer, say. So it's obviously it's quite a busy time then, and then in the build up to Christmas also get a few more corporate jobs coming on then as well. So yeah, so it's like I say, June to September is the real busy months, but it's all year round as well.
You kind of want to make hay while the sun shines, so to speak, as in, that is the peak season. And it certainly you know, a full-time job, if you want it to be during that period of time, because then in the quieter times you get more of that work-life balance, that you can get some more time off outside of that kind of peak summer.
Yeah,
So
that's kind of the other thing that really attracted me to it. You know, the balance of work. You know, being able to do what you want to do when you want to do it, rather than being tied to a set hours job.
yeah, okay, that's great. And now you've been on board and kind of running with us for over a year now, what areas of kind of the franchise now, you know, the day to day that, you know, we help you with, or that you get from us that you like?
Yeah, so the fact that you guys do deal with all the bookings and inquiries is really beneficial, because you know, you copy us in the email when the inquiry is made, but don't really have to do anything. You know, you deal with all that. Obviously, in the summer when it's really busy, you don't really have time to do that kind of thing. So obviously, when the customer books, I have to send a quick email, and that's about it, really. So that's really good. And obviously, the support we get. Obviously, if you've got any queries or anything we're not sure about, you're always on the phone, ready to, you know, deal with that kind of thing as well. So
Yeah, I
yeah,
think
it's really good.
the inquiries is a big part of what we do in the sales and booking that in, because it takes up such a big period of amount of time that, you know, part of what we're offering is that work-life balance, and for you to be able to go out and just deliver the jobs means that in the quieter periods, you know, when there isn't as much work, you're still seeing the inquiries coming in, and we're dealing with that, so you get more downtime to do what you want. Also, you know, I'm glad you mentioned about the, you know, the support and the, you know, the manuals. You know, we've learned a lot of things over the last 10 years when, you know, when I set up the business, and there's a lot of mistakes that you kind of make. And I think one of the benefits of joining either this franchise or any franchise is that you're buying into a well-trodden path, and the experience that a franchise or has gained to ensure that the franchisee can hit the ground running to maximize earning potentials.
Yeah, that's it. With you got the obviously the kit lists and all the menus are all set out. You know, obviously with all everything you need to buy, quantities and everything. So it makes life so much easier than if you're starting off yourself from scratch. So yeah.
Yeah. Are you happy to discuss any figures for you know, for your franchise?
Yeah, sure. So in terms of the busy 4 months, as I mentioned, so the summer of 2022, the turnover for June to September was £60,000. You know, averaging obviously 15,000 a month. There was a couple of months around 16,000, and then obviously the other two a bit lower. That was running at a 50% gross profit. So obviously that was, you know, made some good money during those months. But obviously with you guys dealing with the inquiries as well, as I mentioned, because even in the quieter months when you're not really doing anything, you've still got money coming in all year round. So obviously it's a bit less, you know, in the winter months, but you've still got the income coming in. So it's almost an all year round job.
Yeah, I think cash flow is important for any business, and what we typically see with a franchise is that although, you know, the quietest period is kind of January to March, where you're not really doing much work, but what you are getting is a lot of inquiries for the summer and people paying deposits then. So you're seeing that money coming in, which I think is important. And what we say as a franchise, in year one, you should be turning over 80,000 plus VAT across the whole year. And, you know, in year two, 120 plus VAT, you should be turning over. So it's good that in year one you've been hitting that figure, and hopefully year two will exceed the 120. What's your kind of longer term goals with the franchise and life in general?
So obviously the main reason I've just recently added the Warwickshire territory as well is so that I can maximise, you know, the income streams during the summer months, take on some more staff, and, you know, really get up to the kind of figure, past the kind of figures you're talking about, with a long-term goal of sort of semi-retiring to Spain. Maybe 7-8 years time. We're looking to you know, work hard during the summer, and then I can go abroad in the winter when it's cold here. That's the long-term goal. Yeah.
Yeah, and that kind of, you know, from our perspective, that's great that the franchise can potentially help you realize your longer term goals. And you know, I hope in the next few years that's something that can be achieved, and maybe we can make another video from you in your Spanish finger somewhere in the winter.
That'd be good.
But I really appreciate your time here, Graham. And for any other franchisees that are considering, or potential franchisees looking to join, then please do get in contact. And I'm sure we've got no problem if you want to speak to Graham directly.
Sure.
But yeah, Graham, thank you very much for your time.
No problem.
All the
Thanks,
best.
Andy. Cheers.
Cheers.